Hey all, thanks for joining me on the next tea tasting. Today's tea that I purchased is Nepal Hope Autumnal TGFOP, and it's from TeaGschwendner, which is a German company, but it's also in Chicago. And here's my first peek and observance of the leaves. I love the textures. My first thought is it's really a beautiful tea. You see some different colors, lots of different colors in here. This one out here is almost green. So I've picked it apart a little bit. You see here, there are some sticks in here, but this really rather intrigues me because there's like every color of leaf in here. I mean, some of them are dark black, some of them are brown, some are green, some are light, kind of like a white tea, some are yellow. So here's the color of my first steep. It is very light and clear. I did not steep it very long. It is in my cup. I steeped it a little longer the second time, and the color is about the same. I love my new fluted stemless flute is what they called it in the store. Just at Walmart, bought it for like $1.50, and I'm absolutely enjoying it for drinking tea. I love that it's a little warm on the bottom, so I can grip it at the top right now, but I love the way it feels in my hand when I hold it, and just fits in my hand. It's amazing how just changing up your drinkware changes your tea experience, and I always say it's about the little things, and this week this is my little thing that I'm enjoying. Hey y'all, here are my tasting notes for the Nepal Hope Autumnal TGFOP. And I'm not sure why it's called Hope, although I love the word hope. The TGFOP is a rating for Tippy Golden Flowery Orange Pico. And I have that it is the highest amount of tips, but then again, there's 2 grades above this one, but it's supposed to be a very high grade. You see the tea merchant is TeaGschwendner. They are out of Chicago, but they're a German company. I guess they are international. There's today's date, Saturday morning. This is a black tea, and its origin is from Nepal. Now, back fall of 2019, I got a tea from Nepal that I absolutely loved. And it was a golden tip, and it was my first experience with golden tip. It was even rated high on the internet, so I was very hopeful for this one. But you'll see my review as we continue going. So here I always like learning about the region, and so you see here we have Nepal is right here at the base of these mountains, and right here is Darjeeling, and we see right over here Assam, and so it's not far from this well-known region for where teas are made. And in fact, here I zoomed in a little bit more so you can see Nepal. Actually, I zoomed out, And so you can see more India and exactly where it is located. But if we go down here to this map, you see for Nepal from this website that this is the eastern growing area for tea in Nepal. And so if you go back up here to this map, the eastern area is right next to Darjeeling. So you could anticipate maybe that they might have similar characters. Um, and here's another map that I got from this website link that also shows the eastern area and where Darjeeling is for most of the tea from Nepal. Processing. Okay, as you saw in the beginning, I was very surprised. It was a mixture of green, brown, white, and black leaves. Some even seemed to be like uh, a grass, lemongrass. That's what I'm trying to think of. Lemongrass and chocolate bark. It almost looked like a blend of tea, but I know it's not. So I have no clue how it is processed. I have absolutely, with so many different varieties of things and pieces in the mixture, it's very baffling to me. So, but it was pretty. I like the way it looked. So, for some of my notes, I really, really, really wanted this to be like the walk in the woods. I love walking in the woods and smelling. And but there was absolutely no wooded or woody for me. It was not woody. So you see from the website, delightfully flavor aromatic autumnal crop, rich, nuanced with a soft yellow cup. Mine was not a soft yellow. Mellow and aromatic, colorful like a walk in the woods during Indian summer. Now, I did find this same tea on some other websites, and they all had this same description. It's almost like they got the description from the company they bought it from in Nepal, and they all used the same thing. And I found it very inaccurate. The package says Autumn in Nepal presents a final opportunity for tea before the grip of winter. In contrast to the aromatic boldness of second flush teas, this autumnal enjoys a more rounded muscatel signature with the softer feel and woody undertones. So, they keep suggesting that's woody stuff, and that no, in reading the description, that's what I was hopeful for, but I did not get that. Then the package also had suggestion of 3 grams per 8 ounce. I did with the Guy one. It says for 2 minutes, which is really very low, so that should have been a key for me. But I did 5 grams in my 5 ounce cup because I like brewing more leaves with less water for less time. So in Nepal, this is what I learned reading in my book I have and online. They have winter, and so they have where it goes dormant for a while. Some of the countries recently I learned more down on the equator can grow tea year-round. Not this one. So they do have a first flush, which is in April, with a pale golden cup and delicate flavor. They have a second flush in May and June, which is a more mature cup, fuller and fruity. They have a third flush in July and September, and I thought this was interesting. They get a monsoon rain. So the tea has a high water content darker color and stronger flavor, and that has my curiosity piqued, so I kind of want to go get some of that sometime. But this one is the fourth flush, so it's in autumn, so it's considered an, or in October, so it's considered an autumn tea, and it has a much richer aroma and a marked muscatel flavor. So, all the websites out there describe this as a yellow. It was nowhere near that. I have it as brown. Here's my uh, color spectrum that I created. And there's the brown. I get brown a lot. It's very classic tea color. Aroma flavor. So in the dry, it was a very light scent, and it was a classic muscatel, aka raisin, because a muscat is a kind of grape that's turned into a raisin. It's dried. So that since I've never had a muscat, I only have a raisin to compare it to. But yes, that was very pleasing, and that's what I smelt in the dry. The wet, however, changed totally. Um, it was more of a floral that came out with a little bit of the classic malt aroma. Um, Now, for me, I have said this before, it's just something I have in my head. In a single session, now each session can change, but in a single session, I rate it as a higher grade tea if it's the same dry as it is wet, as when I taste it, as when it's in the finish. Now, the next time I taste it, it might be different, but this one jumped all over the place. And so that actually was something I didn't like. Even just from the dry to the wet, it smelled differently. The body, uh, very light. Now, here's the deal with this tea. My first steep was very short, 20 seconds. I always do a short steep first, especially for a tea I've never known, and then slowly go up. That way I can learn the tea better. Oh, did I learn this tea? So the first steep was smooth, astringency low. I really liked it. The second steep I did for like 1 minute. I usually don't make that jump to 1 minute, but I was recording. I usually will try to do 30 or 40 seconds before I go to 60, but I did do about 60 seconds, and it jumped from the smooth and low category all the way to the pungent and bold, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't hardly even swallow this. This is not good. So I have developed, in talking about tea, my own personal language. I've never heard anybody else say this. This is my thing. I always say that a tea is either very forgiving or unforgiving, and this is an unforgiving tea. Prime example. So I have certain teas that are very forgiving, where if I inadvertently steep them too long, they still retain that either smooth and low or bright and light astringency that I prefer. Um, so that is, if I inadvertently steep too long, it is forgiving of my error. But if I inadvertently steep too long and it turns very pungent, that is a very unforgiving tea. And so this tea is very unforgiving of any distractions I might get in my brewing time. I do not like that. Taste. My first steep was I had a delicate combination of that classic malt and the muscatel, vague hints of floral. So I got those same things I smelt, but in different um, levels. The you know, one time when I smelt it, it was much more floral, another time not. Tasting, I almost got none of that. However, on my second steep, it was just, when I did it longer, it was just floral and pungent and lost all muscatel and malt, lost everything that I enjoyed with my first steep. just totally changed. And the finish I've got as airy and soft. It was so wonderful with my first one with only 20 seconds. I quite enjoyed it. Um, and my second one, a horrible pungency lingered on and on after I swallowed. Oh, it's just like two different teas. And my third steep, I was worried that when I would go after, a lot of times after you do a tea too long, the leaves like are ruined. And every brew after that, no matter how many times you brew it, they're bad. And this one though, I went back to 20 seconds and it went back. I was so glad. And I really enjoyed like sniffing the tea, the smell, the aroma of the liqueur after I swallowed. Um, and that was very nice. My rating, I'm sorry, I don't rate this low very often, but this one, my 1 minute, I just could, I swallowed it. I drank it. It was just okay. I didn't like it. And the unforgiving nature of this tea is certainly only a two-heart tea for me. I will have to remember for the rest of drinking up the rest of this bag, uh, very short steeps only. Very short steeps only to be able to drink it, or if I inadvertently oversteep it, it's going to have to require sugar to make it palatable. So no, I wouldn't buy this one again. Not even close.